show, Tearjerkers.
A local post office will keep its doors open despite an announced service suspension. Plus, a compromise is soon expected on the bipartisan infrastructure package. And in sports, Ohio soccer is in a must-win situation with the championship on the line. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Will Price, and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. The Millfield Post Office will keep its doors open despite a United States Postal Service announcement last month that services would be suspended. The Athens Messenger reports that only 2 days before its October 22nd suspension date, USPS announced an indefinite delay and apologized for the inconvenience caused to post office customers. The communications specialist from USPS said in an email that the organization is working with the owner of the building to correct septic tank issues. The initial announcement of the Millfield Post Office suspension disappointed many local residents, who cited concerns about losing a community institution and the additional travel that would be needed to reach the nearest post office. The building owner, John Steer, said he was pleased about the delay. Ohio University Associate Professor David J. Wynn will be the Ohio University 2021 Fall Commencement Speaker. Wynn is an Associate Professor of Higher Education and Student Affairs in the Department of Counseling and Higher Education, Interim Associate Dean for Research and Graduate Studies in the Patton College of Education, and the Provost Faculty Fellowship for Student Success. Since joining the faculty in August 2016, Wynn has produced more than 60 publications and presentations focused on how campus ecology contributes to student success. His writing calls attention to how individuals and organized groups hinder or widen equitable opportunities for minority students. Fall commencement will take place on Saturday, December 11th in the Convocation Center in Athens. The Poor People's Campaign is calling on U.S. Senator Joe Manchin to support social service and climate strategies. The campaign is a national group that calls for a moral revival across the country. It held a rally Sunday at the West Virginia Capitol. Rally co-chair Reverend William J. Barber II says in a news release that Manchin is saying no to a living wage, help for seniors, and voting rights, but the West Virginia Democrat still has a chance to say yes. On Sunday, the campaign published full-page and digital ads in 4 West Virginia newspapers. The Poor People's Campaign will have another rally Wednesday on the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court. The group will demonstrate in favor of legislation currently in Congress that supports poor and low-income people. Across the country, oil prices continue to rise in record rates. Oil topped $85 per barrel for the first time in intraday trading since 2014. That marks a 13% jump in oil prices this month alone and a 120% rise since this time last year. The turnaround is remarkable for a commodity that was trading at negative prices less than 18 months ago when suppliers ran out of space to store it. A global energy crunch is similarly impacting the prices of coal and natural gas. The average price Americans are paying for a gallon of gas now stands at $3.38. A year ago, it was $2.16. The price of oil is highly influenced by output rates determined by OPEC, which is the world's largest cartel. Now to Henry for weather.
So right now we're looking at a line of thunderstorms moving through the area. So far in the past couple of minutes, we did see a line move through Athens with gusty winds. We did see some wind gusts at around 40 miles per hour with this line of storms down south. Right now we're looking at around 63 degrees with humidity above 75% and winds from the south at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. You're going to continue to see this line of storms move through the region off to the east. In a couple minutes, Marietta should be seeing this line of storms move through. Right now it's around 63 degrees in Athens and it's been cooling down. Chillicothe is now down to around 59 degrees and these temperatures will continue to drop down. Heading into my full weather later on, we're going to be continuing to see this line of rain move through. It's going to be clearing out tomorrow, and we're going to be taking a quick look at rain moving into Friday. Now back over to the desk.
For the first time in state history, Ohio recorded more deaths than births last year. The Columbus Dispatch reported today that according to the Ohio Department of Health, roughly 143,000 Ohioans died last year, while about 129,000 were born. In the 112 years that statewide record-keeping began, data shows that deaths never surpassed births despite wars, economic downturns, and previous diseases. So far in 2021, Ohio has logged more than 107,000 deaths and more than 100,000 births. Experts believe this development was likely expedited by COVID-19. Sorry for the technical difficulties. A former Vinnen County fiscal officer pleaded not guilty last week related to charges of over $287,000 in theft. The Vinnen-Jackson Courier reports investigators found between January 2016 and July 2020, former fiscal officer Sy, who had legally changed his name from Cyril Veerstra in 2017, had allegedly used Vinnen Township debt and credit cards and issued checks on the township's bank account for his own personal benefit. The investigation began following a complaint by Vinnen auditor Cindy Waugh. According to Waugh, a township trustee notified her that a check written by the township had bounced. A former West Virginia sheriff's office filed a lawsuit Friday afternoon accusing the Wood County sheriff of harassment in the workplace. The suit accuses the sheriff of making derogatory and sexist comments, inappropriately touching a female officer, and creating a hostile work environment. According to the Parkersburg News and Sentinel, the suit comes after the Wood County Deputy Sheriff's Association voted no confidence in Sheriff Steve Stevens' leadership. Despite the vote, the suit claims county commissioners took no action towards Stevens and declined to implement sexual harassment training as recommended by an investigator. A compromise could soon be reached on the bipartisan infrastructure package. And how soon millions of kids could be eligible for COVID-19 vaccines. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
On Secrets of the Dead. Until now, the experiences of early women received little attention.
The female was simply forgotten.
The true story of prehistoric woman is being brought to light.
We operate under the assumption that it's the prime age males that are the be-all and end-all of Ice Age lifeways, and they're not.
Lady Sapiens on Secrets of the Dead.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, there are non-stop tears of joy.
Can't believe it. Really? I had no idea.
Congratulations. Oh, I have to give you guys a hug.
You're kidding.
No, do you still think it's ugly?
Watch next time on Antiques Roadshow, Tearjerkers.
All along the New England coast, ospreys are icons of summer. They've come to take up their greatest challenge, to compete with each other, to fend off thieves, and to raise tiny, helpless chicks. For an osprey, summer is no day at the beach. It's an annual call to battle, and the toughest test of everything they are.
In less than 2 weeks, millions of kids in the country could be eligible for a COVID-19 vaccine. Britt Conway has the latest on the push to get kids ages 5 to 11 vaccinated.
How are we going to end the pandemic? The best way to do so is to have the maximum number of individuals immune, and that's what vaccines offer you. And if that includes kids, that's all the more reason to send this virus packing.
Pfizer is already packing, ready and waiting to ship out its COVID-19 vaccine for kids 5 to 11. It's 2 doses, 3 weeks apart, each a third of a normal dose. And Pfizer says it's about 90% effective against symptomatic infection. The FDA's vaccine advisors are scheduled to meet tomorrow to make their recommendation to the FDA, which has already said the benefits outweigh the risks. So if and when the FDA formally makes the emergency use authorization, Pfizer is ready to get shipping.
So it will be available for use once there's a hopefully positive vote from CDC. So it could be as early as November 4th and 5th that you can go into some locations and get your child vaccinated.
The nation's 28 million kids in that age group could get their first COVID-19 vaccine in just about a week and a half, but ultimately, it's up to parents.
Parents ought to look at that discussion, see what the experts are saying. I don't want to get ahead of FDA and CDC's advisory process. Let's see what they say. But the data preliminarily looks pretty good.
And you're all done.
I think it could make a huge difference. It would be pivotal.
Pivotal to ending this pandemic. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
According to Ohio's Department of Health, about 18% of those who are ages 0 to 19 have been vaccinated in the state. To find more information about who is eligible to be vaccinated in your area and how to get vaccinated, go to vaccines.gov or text your zip code to 438829 or call 1-800-232-0233. Again, that is 1-800-232-0233. President Joe Biden met with Senate Democrat Joe Manchin and Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on Sunday to reach an agreement on his massive economic and climate package. Manchin has been one of 2 holdouts on the package, and negotiations have dragged on for months. Now a deal could be within reach. John Lawrence reports.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says Democrats are close to reaching an agreement on the framework for the Biden administration's so-called Build Back Better plan.
It is less than we had was projected to begin with, but it's still bigger than anything we have ever done in terms of addressing the needs of America's working families.
She says she expects the deal to be done before President Biden heads to Europe next week.
I think we're pretty much there now.
Pelosi also says Congress has to pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill by Halloween before an extension of the funding for surface transportation expires. Some Republicans agree repairing the nation's aging infrastructure is a must, but they're not sold on the White House plan to expand the social safety net.
It's critical for roads, it's for broadband, it's for water infrastructure, but this social engineering plan that they have, this trillions of dollars, is simply going to add to inflationary pressures that's already costing the average American a great deal.
Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson says the bill for the plan is way too high.
Now all we see is more government spending, $1 trillion plan that's out there, multi-trillion dollars, and it can't be explained. So it's really worrisome as a governor to hear what's planned.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says the rise in the cost of U.S. goods from gas prices to groceries is related to the COVID-19 pandemic. She says she expects inflation should fall back to the 2% range, which is considered acceptable during the second half of 2022. A U.S.-based missionary group says the kidnapping of its members in Haiti is taking an emotional toll on the rest of the organization. 17 members of Christian and ministries are currently being held by a notorious Haitian gang that made kidnappings its signature crime. Its leader is threatening to kill the hostages unless he receives $17 million in ransom. CNN's Matt Rivers has more.
Well, it has now been more than 1 week since 17 missionaries who were on a mission trip here to Haiti were kidnapped by gang members just east of the capital city of Port-au-Prince, where we are right now. And for family members of those kidnapping victims who have been going through this horrific tragedy, this is obviously a very difficult time for them. We did get an updated statement from Christian Aid Ministries, which is the group that those missionaries were working on behalf of here in Haiti. They sent out an updated statement late on Saturday evening.
Today marks 1 week since our workers and loved ones were kidnapped in Haiti. This group is still being held hostage. It's been a week of many tears and thousands, if not millions, of prayers.
Christian Aid Ministries actually sharing some quotes from a few family members, unnamed family members of these kidnapping victims.
We are interested in the salvation of these men and we love them. As a family, we are giving forgiveness to these men. We are not holding anything against them.
Meanwhile, as we look ahead to the beginning part of the week here in Port-au-Prince, we're going to get a reminder of just how difficult life is right now for the people who live in this country. There's going to be a general strike by a number of different groups, everything from transportation workers to ordinary businesses. Basically, we're expecting the capital city of Port-au-Prince to largely shut down on Monday and perhaps even on Tuesday and going into the week. It's a form of protest, basically, against not only the overall security situation here in Haiti, which has made daily life so dangerous, especially with this kidnapping threat, but also specifically about the fuel shortage. It is there's a massive fuel shortage right now in the capital region here, and that is affecting daily life in a number of different ways, driving up consumer prices, making getting around that much harder, and that's affecting a country that is already dealing with so much poverty. And so this protest, this general strike, as it's being called here in Port-au-Prince, designed to highlight some of those issues that ordinary Haitians are dealing with. Matt Rivers, CNN, Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the Biden administration has been briefed on the situation and that the FBI and State Department are working towards the release of the 17 hostages. Psaki also says the embassy is providing assistance to the families to resolve the situation. Pope Francis is calling for action on the Libyan migrant situation. That story is still ahead.
We're going to be seeing dry weather tomorrow after a cold front moves through this evening. I'll have this and more in my full forecast coming up on Newswatch. But first, a look at stocks of local interest.
Southeast Ohio football is back and better than ever in 2021, and Gridiron Glory has you covered with the latest stories and award-winning coverage from around the region. Tune in Fridays at 11:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 11:30 a.m. to find out who's bringing the glory all season long. You can catch all this season's action at woub.org/gridiron or stay up to date and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Get ready and remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
On Finding Your Roots, actor Jane Lynch
I'm learning more and more about what I've been imprinted with.
and comedian Jim Gaffigan.
There's something about resiliency.
Discrimination
No Irish need apply. Unbelievable.
and hardships of immigration.
It's not this noble, romantic pioneer story.
Plus a DNA match.
You would never guess in a million years. You're a DNA
cow.
cousin.
I volunteered for missions. It was just too exciting.
Beware what you wish for.
That's when the ambush starts.
He was walking on the ridgeline, and I fired.
You are never the same.
It's important for people to hear these stories, to understand why and when and where we send our sons and daughters to go and fight, but also in helping us to come home.
American Veteran, Tuesday, October 26 at 9, 8 Central, only on PBS.
On Secrets of the Dead. Until now, the experiences of early women received little attention.
The female was simply forgotten.
The true story of prehistoric woman is being brought to light.
We operate under the assumption that it's the prime age males that are the be-all and end-all of Ice Age lifeways, and they're not.
Lady Sapiens on Secrets of the Dead.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm forecaster Henry Groff taking a full look at your weather. And right now it is still raining in Athens, but that rain should be moving out in the next 5 to 10 minutes. East of Athens, you will start to see that rain continue into this evening. And by tonight, the rain will be moving out. Behind the cold front, looking at visible satellite, is where the cold front is. And then once this cold front moves out, we'll still continue to see clouds circulate in behind the cold front. So tonight and into tomorrow, we're going to still see cloud cover. Looking at the surface features, this is where the cold front is associated with this area of low pressure. But behind it, we do see a high pressure moving in, which will bring some nice weather into the middle of the week. Looking at tonight, we'll continue to see rain moving out of the region, around 40% chance. Temperatures will be up in the mid-50s, and then by midnight, we could see some more showers develop. It's not going to be heavy like we're seeing right now, and temperatures will be down to around 52 degrees. Tonight, temperatures will be down to the upper 40s. Winds will be out from the northwest at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, mostly west as the cold front moves through. Chance of rain after midnight will be around 30%. Looking at the region tonight, we're going to still see temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. Rain will continue to move through the region, but after midnight, it's just going to be a couple light showers. Looking at tomorrow, cold fronts move out of the region, high pressure builds in. We're going to be looking out to the central plains, looking at this low pressure system that will be making its way into the region, and we could see some rain heading into Friday. But for tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at a chilly morning with temperatures in the upper 40s, and by the afternoon, we could see some windy conditions. Wind gusts could be up to 20 miles per hour. With temperatures heading into the afternoon at around 54 degrees. It's going to be cloudy all day with winds out from the northwest from 10 to 15 miles per hour. Again, some wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour. And across the region, we could see some sunshine peeking in from the west. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 50s. And looking at the week ahead with our 7-day forecast, we're going to be looking at very nice weather heading into Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, we're going to be heading back to the chance of rain. Unfortunately, this is another Friday for Gridiron Glory looking at rain. And then for Halloween weekend, we're going to look at an isolated chance of rain Saturday and then looking really nice on Sunday. Now I'm going to be handing it back to Will.
Thanks, Henry. Pope Francis called for an intervention Sunday during a worsening migrant situation in Libya. He compares the migrant detention centers there to concentration camps. Libya is a major transit point for migrants from Africa on their way to Europe. Sunday, more than 500 migrants either reached Italy or were trying to. The Pope's remarks come a day after actor Richard Gere was called to testify against Italian politician Matteo Salvini. Salvini is accused of kidnapping 147 migrants in 2019 by blocking their disembarkation. Gere had delivered food and water to the vessel and will testify about conditions he observed. Salvini's next hearing is December 17th. It is unclear when Gere will testify.
Coming up in sports, Ohio soccer has a must-win game this weekend as a MAC regular season title is on the line. And right after the break, Ohio football enters the bye week with a 2-game losing streak. Hear from the head coach on how his team prepares to handle the last 4 games up next on Newswatch. Stay tuned to WOUB because here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station. Good evening, I'm Ethan Sargent with sports. The Ohio football team has a lot of soul searching to do after earning its first losing record since 2014. This Bobcats team has had its moments, but in the stat that matters most, Ohio has not found much success. Sitting at 1-7, the Bobcats will not be going bowling in Tim Albin's first season as head coach. After yet another close loss this weekend to Kent State at home, Albin says his team has to learn to finish down the stretch.
Nobody hates to lose more than me. I know I said it. I told Russ that. Nobody hates to lose more than me, and we just got to find a way. These guys come to work, and we got to find.
This team has a bye week off before a battle of the bricks against rival Miami at Peden Stadium next Tuesday. Ohio is in a winner-take-all situation after its first conference loss against Central Michigan yesterday. The Chippewas came away with a 3-2 victory in double overtime. Regan Berg put Ohio on the board with a goal in the first half, and Serena Deering scored another near the end of the second. The Bobcats welcome Kent State Thursday to Chesapeake in Athens with it all on the line. Both teams sit tied in the MAC, and the winner takes the regular season title. If the game ends in a draw and Bowling Green secures 3 points, then the Falcons will claim the title. After starting the season 1-15, the Ohio volleyball team turned over a new leaf. They won 4 in a row before last weekend's tandem of matches against Akron. The matches saw a mixed bag for the Bobcats. Ohio was able to win a back-and-forth battle 3-2 on Friday, with 19 kills from Caroline Clippard and 20 digs from Macy Watrous. The Zips came out Saturday ready to play. The Bobcats slumped to a 3-0 sweep, and Coach Jeff Carlston says despite a great effort from his team, the Bobcats got outplayed on Saturday.
Every category, I think they played better tonight. So, kudos to them. We had a big match last night. This was our third match in 4 days. So, in the end, we talked about we can't have any excuses. So.
The Ohio hockey team had an up-and-down weekend at Byrd Arena. The Bobcats got the job done on Saturday against Illinois. Sam Turner provided a goal and an assist, and the Bobcats were able to hold off a late Fighting Illini rally to get the win. Sunday was a different story for a variety of reasons. The Bobcats were down 4-1 after 2 periods, despite outshooting Illinois 24-18, but the game was called early due to a puddle on the ice. The game has been finalized today as a 4-1 final. The Bobcats are back in action Friday at Adrian College. The Cincinnati Bengals are playing their best football since 2015, and they made a statement on the road against their division rival Baltimore. Joe Burrow threw for 416 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Jamar Can't Catch Chase has a whopping 201 receiving yards. His total of 754 yards is the most ever by a rookie in their first 7 games. The Bengals defense held former MVP Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense to just 17 points and had 5 sacks. The Bengals won their biggest game in years in resounding fashion, 41-17. The Bengals now hold a 5-2 record and the #1 overall seed in the AFC, just like everyone predicted. That's it for sports. Back over to you, Will.
This Sunday marked the 29th annual Duelist Plane Pool to benefit Special Olympics. Teams of 25 people hit the runway at Washington's Dulles International Airport to compete. The objective was to pull an 82-ton FedEx Boeing 757 12 feet in the least amount of time. Deputies from the Chesapeake County Sheriff's Office took the win with a time just under 6 seconds. Organizers are hoping by next year there will be no need for any COVID protocols and they can have spectators back on the runway. Now to Henry for a final look at your weather.
Looking at a final look at the weather, we're still looking at rain out to the east of Athens. Rain will start to move into West Virginia in the next couple minutes. Looking at tomorrow, it's going to be a lot nicer with cloudy skies. It's going to be windy with gusts up to 20 miles per hour and it'll be out from the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And across the region, it's going to be a little chilly. We'll start to see some peaks of sunshine out to the west, but temperatures will remain in the mid to low 50s. Looking at our week ahead, we're going to be seeing rain coming back in Friday for the 3rd week for Gridiron Glory. Temperatures will be in the upper 50s tomorrow, and Thursday we'll be heading into the upper 60s. And after the rain moves out Friday, we'll see a slight chance Saturday morning with temperatures in the upper 50s. And then heading into Halloween on Sunday, it's going to be looking really nice with temperatures in the low 60s. Now back over to Will.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Will Price. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Dean Heating and Cooling. Stay warm this winter with energy-efficient TempStar heating. Dean Heating and Cooling provides HVAC services and installation in the Athens area, featuring TempStar quality you can feel.